Majority of the people that studied in the UK will not be getting the post-study work permit, and that's just the fact. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It is just the way the system works. Because the reality is this: there is no way the United Kingdom will give jobs to over 650,000 people that applied to study in the UK. This is the reason why you have to be very smart if you're making this decision. Now, personally, UK should not be on your top list if your plan is to immigrate to and stay in the UK. What do I mean by this? I mean, UK should not be on your priority list if your plan is to settle in the UK after study. And that's because the reality is the fact that UK does not want you to stay. It's just the pure truth. There's no other way around it. The fact is this: UK is managing their resources. They have fewer landmass. They have a huge population, and they just need something to grow the economy. If you are planning to study in the UK or you are currently studying in the UK, now you have to understand the fact that you need to get out of the UK as fast as you can. That's if you don't end up getting the post-study work permit. And why am I saying this? A lot of people will be making the mistake of actually trying to get a caregiver job, which is one of the easiest jobs you can get after studying in the UK. I can confidently tell you this might be another big mistake that you'll be making. And why am I saying this? Now, let's break this down. Number one, it costs you between 20,000 to about 60,000 pounds to study in the UK. Now, imagine after spending that sum of money to study in the UK, you're now trying to get a work permit. You couldn't get a post-study work permit. You are forced to also get a caregiver job, which still costs a lot of money. And if you're lucky, you're getting it free. If you make a comparison of the costs of studying in the UK and the salary of a caregiver, you just realize that it doesn't just make sense. You realize that the salary is nothing compared to how much you have spent in the UK. So getting a caregiver job might also be another big blunder, in the sense that if you abandon the course that you studied in the UK to focus on a caregiver job just to be able to get a stay. Now, imagine getting stuck on that job for 3 to 5 years. And the reality is this: at the end of the day, it will be very extremely difficult for another organization to employ you because you don't have experience in the field of your study. Does that make sense? So this is the reason why you have to be smart about it. So now, what are the things you need to do on the long term and on the short term? So what can you do? Now, one of the things you need to understand is this: you need to start applying for jobs 3 months before the completion of your program. You need to understand this. So, number two, at the end of the completion of your program, if you still don't get something positive, you may consider the caregiver job temporarily. Now, second, the moment you get your certificate, you can already start applying to jobs in the UK and in Canada, or possibly start processing the Canadian permanent residence. Now, if this is taking longer, you can quickly take a caregiver job temporarily in the UK while waiting for a positive response either in the US or in Canada. Now, make sure you don't stay so long on that job, so that at the end of the day, the only experience you would have is a caregiver job. You just find yourself switching jobs from one care home to another care home just to make more money. So, and at the end of the day, if you're not careful, you've wasted the number of years you planned studying in the UK for a caregiver job, which is obviously not your first choice, and it is just something you decide to do temporarily because you couldn't get a postgraduate work permit, or you couldn't get a company that will sponsor you at that point. So it's very important to target countries like the US and Canada, Australia, because this is a country nobody is actually focusing on right now. And trust me, there's a lot of gold mine in Australia and New Zealand. So these are some of the other countries you can also target, because right now you now have a foreign education, an European education for that matter. So you already have this. All you just have to do is to start taking steps, applying for jobs. Now, trust me, it's not going to be an easy process, but it is highly possible, because right now the UK does not want you to stay. So rather than just trying to force yourself into that box, the best option right now to do is to try other countries. So how do you get started? Visit the top 3 job sites in US, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand. So, and make sure you apply to minimum of at least 10 jobs every day. So that at the end of 30 days, you must have applied for minimum of 300 jobs. The more the numbers, the better. So one of the easiest ways to go about that is to use maybe automation tools like ChatGPT. So once you see an application, copy out the application, paste it in ChatGPT, and tell ChatGPT to apply for that job on your behalf. So that way you can easily just do a copy and paste while doing little or minor tweaking. So just do a copy and paste. With that, you can apply to as many jobs as possible. And over time, since you'll be applying to the same kind of jobs, you can tweak what ChatGPT has given you. So just in case you are wondering what is ChatGPT, it is more like a tool, an automation tool that can basically give you response to basically anything that you ask it to do. So for example, if you ask it to write an essay, it will develop a well-detailed essay. If you ask it to provide you answer to any question, it's just going to do that. So maybe I'm just going to be doing another episode on that, on how to actually apply for jobs using ChatGPT. Other countries that need that population, like US need a lot of people, same with Canada. Now that the country is needing this huge population, you can easily just jump into this right now and take advantage of it. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Click on the notifications icon, that's the bell icon beside the subscribe button. So whenever I make a new post like this, you don't get to miss it. Now, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.